Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Ken. Kenny Ken wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Red Small make a run to be $50?
Bouquett, you son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Ken, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97 home. That is the way. Here comes Jason Meyer, the other auto custodian, Billy Friedrich. Jones one all coming down to the finish.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no, it's Fanatical Jim.
Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty, up the crackin', we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, Bouquett produced, fade the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They getting slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a legal weapon, cause we need, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
All right, say hey everyone, welcome into Betting with Bouquett. My name is Jose Bouquett. Nice to see everyone bright and early on a Wednesday. If you guys are asking where's Jimmy right now, I'll let you guys know again, and I'll repeat this throughout the season for those that are new in here. I host Wednesdays for Jimmy now during the football season because he is a very busy man during football. So I host on Wednesdays for Jimmy. going forward on the football season. We're going to have a great show today. 4 very good football games. Four very good baseball games. Then Connor Mack picks Wine Time Sports joining us for college football, and Sharpie joining us for the back half of MLB as well. So it's going to be very exciting, and all of these things happening. See the chat bumping early. We've got Goran or Goki. Shout out to you, Goki. Bashashir FC Moneyline. You're going to have to tell us what league that is. I think that might be Turkish. Who knows? But thank you, Goran. And he's got Royals plus 1.5 and Bayern Munich parlay play of the day. Justin McKelvey in here early with his stacks play of the day. Kyle Tucker over 1.5 bases. And Marcel Ozuna over 1.5 bases. It's early, but damn, do I love this hit.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Shout out to you, Justin. Gerald Jones dropping his best bet Astros run line here. Good morning, Nuke Worker. Nice to see you. Tom Leach in here. Nate Dogg, Old E. My guy DG, Dennis Garcia. Bet Detroit yesterday. I'll bet Detroit today, and I'll bet Detroit tomorrow, too. That's very interesting, DG. I was kind of leaning their way today. But let's get into these games here. We'll talk about all 4 playoff games first. Then we'll get into Wine Time Sports. Then we'll get into Connor Mack picks plays here. Should be a very fun show. Yesterday in baseball, we went 2-1. Can't complain. Both totals went under. It was kind of sweat-free. It did get a little sweaty at the end of this game specifically, but it was nice. 2-1. Probably doesn't hit for us, but, that is what it is. We'll take the profit, and it comes here. So let us talk about these games here, and I'm very excited to get into them because we had obviously 3 out of 4 underdogs win here, and shout out to Razor. He put out a good stat, and I didn't know this. All the 3 out of 4 underdogs win. No team has come back to win the series in this wild card format. So very interesting. I was like, wow. And I knew that, or I asked in our little baseball chat who was going to be betting the Astros to win the series after they lose the first game. I get why people are doing that. It makes a whole lot of sense. But, man, I'll be honest. I do not want to stand in front of this Detroit Tigers team. We have Tyler Holton starting, Reese Olson following him. Reese Olson has not seen the Tigers, has not seen the Astros. 2 appearances against Jason Hayward. That is it. So he's a very much an unknown here for the Astros against Hunter Brown, who we all know. Quality pitcher. But, man, I'm just saying I do not want to get in front of this this Tigers bandwagon right now. It's rolling. This heavy, sharp action on the Tigers here. 16% of the bets, 82% of the money according to action on the Tigers here. So that's fascinating, but all that money on them, we've gone to minus 160 to minus 174 at BetOnline. So it worries me in that aspect, but I kind of agree with Dennis. I've kind of been down on the Astros all year, and the Tigers are rolling, have a lot of momentum, probably playing for their manager. Obviously, AJ Hinch, former Astros manager. So I just didn't want to get in front of that. However, I will continue to take unders in this series. Because, one, the Tigers are just generally not that good of a hitting team. They're winning scrappy, low-scoring ball games right now, and it's been fun to watch. And I like I don't know how to even quantify it. I like the Tigers magic, as we've been calling it. I called it baseball magic earlier with the A's in their final days here, but I like what they're doing right now. Their bullpen has been on fire. Bet percentages on the total, 62% of the bets, 47% of the money on the over. So 38% of the bets, 53% of the money on the under. We've gone from an opener of minus 115 to the 7.5 on the over. Now it is juiced to the under. I moved on the under in this game, 7.5 minus 120. And you guys will probably see that is a trend. I just think these totals are too high, and I think we obviously have very cautious managers here. So under for me today. Let us go into our next game here. Royals-Orioles. Boy, oh boy. Wow, I was surprised to see the Orioles get blanked yesterday. I mean, I knew Raggins was going to pitch really well. That's why we bet the under. But nothing, not even a run for them here. And, man, do I expect the same thing here? Because I did think the Royals were the most susceptible for a sweep here. They kind of backed their way into the playoffs. But I don't know. The Orioles have just not had a good playoff history right now. It's just, for whatever reason, their bats get cold. We have Eflin versus Seth Lugo. And, honestly, Seth Lugo has the pitching advantage over Eflin. But we open this line up at minus 142, Baltimore Orioles here. It gets up all the way up minus 150, all the way up minus 167, and then plummets right back down to where it is now at minus 144. So only 2 cents of movement on the Orioles here. 83% of the bets, 69% of the money on the Orioles. I kind of think they're done, which is shocking to say. I'm not confident enough to move on the Royals side here, but I am, again, moving on the under in this game. I just, again, don't think the Orioles have the playoff chops, I guess. I'm not sure what it is. Again, I trust Seth Lugo. Royals offense, we all know, has been sputtering to say the least. And generally, I trust Zach Eflin. We can talk about how bad the Royals offense was in the last month. 75 weighted runs created plus. So I'm just expecting 2 really scrappy type ball games to start this day off. And we get 2 unders yet again here. So I'm under 7.5 in both games. Minus 120 for both here. Yes, a minus 120 for both. So kind of the inverse of what I bet yesterday price-wise. But minus 120 for me for both. It's going to be a little sweaty, obviously, because we're going to see a desperate teams on the other side. But it's going to be fun to watch. So under for me there, 7.5 minus 120. And that leads us to our third game, Mets-Brewers. And that brings us to bring on our special guest here. The best pitching prop bettor I know, you know, and everyone knows on the damn planet. It is damn Sharpie's Bets over here. Hello, Sharpie. How's it going?
I mean, it's going, bro. It's going. 3-1, you'd think you'd be happy, but I'm more mad about the one loss I had. So really pisses me off that I even bet that in the first place. Like, I know you don't bet outs game 1. You bet outs game fucking 2 when you know the guy's got the leash, because that shit they pulled on some of those games yesterday was wow. And that's what we're going to have to talk about with this game. How quick do they pull Montas after they pulled Freddie Peralta in the 4th? They didn't even let him come out with a lead, bro, which your clubhouse has just got to drop. I don't care how good your bullpen is. You got – look what the Mets did. They sent bitch-ass Severino back out there, and he gave up 2. They were down 4-3. Guess what? They still sent his bitch-ass back out there like, we need 6, bro. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're doing today for us. So we've seen 2 different managers, the way they managed the game yesterday, that I'm actually going to have to take into this game today, because I actually think the Brewers are cooked. Crazy enough to say that. That was some demoralizing shit to pull your ace after 4 innings.
I agree as well with you here. I thought, in my hope, I was hoping, the Mets are tired, whatever, they'll lose game 1, and then we'll bet them to win the series in game 2, because I just thought the Mets were honestly just better. But here we are. They kind of get to Peralta, but like you said, they manage the fumble fuck it here. And now we've got Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas, who I definitely don't trust here. I'll tell you that, Sharpie. There's no chance I was going to bet the Brewers here. I thought, honestly, there was going to be a chance this line flips here, and I was like, minus 115 Mets here. But 50-50 tickets, 63% of the money on the Brewers. So sharps are betting the Brewers. This went from -110 Brewers to -115. So slight movement their way. I could see why. This is the only total I haven't bet. And it's kind of just because I don't know what to expect from Montas. And again, we have a really good bullpen. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Devin Williams for 2 innings here, 8th and 9th. But we'll see how all that unfolds. I want to hear what you have to say about this game, Sharpie. I'm all ears. I'm excited to hear your breakdown here.
All right. So what I cannot do is back Frankie Montas because they are in a must-win type situation here, guys. So his props or anything like that, for me, that's out the fucking window. And that's because at any given moment, with any runners on, they have to go to the bullpen. They cannot afford to lose this game. There is no tomorrow for the Brewers. Now, that is a good thing once Montas does get pulled out, because do you really think the Brewers bullpen is going to shit on itself again? I don't think so, but I still think that bats in that clubhouse is demoralized after pulling Freddie Peralta. You let your stud go 5. You let him get the chance to get the win. Then you've set your bullpen up to where at least they only got to go 4. I don't care how good your bullpen is. If you're asking them to go 5 fucking innings in pressure cook situations, that's just, man, you're asking for too much. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go look to back Mr. fucking consistent. Now, both of these guys are on back-to-backs. They just faced these same teams. And Frankie Montas had the better of the two. Sean Manaea got fucking destroyed. Now, I'll tell you, and I've been saying it all year, man, the Brewers don't hit lefties. Even when their numbers said they were hitting lefties, they didn't hit good lefties. Now, is Sean Manaea a good lefty? No, he's Mr. fucking consistent. That's what he is, guys. His splits are 3.5 ERA first half, 3.5 ERA second half. This dude goes deep for them. He's been going deep for them. And we've seen they let Severino get sausaged and still go deep. We've got a team up 1-0 in a spot where they're going to be lesser quick to go to the bullpen to a guy that's gone over 6 innings, 9 of his last 10 games. I put a half unit on Manaea's outs over 15.5. Now, I didn't go full unit because he's not a pitcher I normally back. This is a situation that I'm backing, as well as seeing what happened yesterday with them letting Severino go. Tells me, okay, they will allow a hiccup from Sean Manaea, like Valdez yesterday, 2-3 run in 1 inning, then they settle back in. That's baseball, guys. To ask people to be perfect is stupid, and the Mets coach seems to understand that, where the Brewers coach is a fucking cuck. I'm just going to say that right now.
Man, I like that bet, Sharpie. Over 15.5 outs for Sean Manaea. Brewers against lefties, by the way, for people wondering, they were, and this is the last month of the season here, 22nd, 82 weighted runs created plus, not good. 219 average, not good. Now, Contreras, if and he's going to be hitting here today. By the way, I saw him throw dirt at who was it? The guy that came back, Winker. He threw dirt on his cleats as he was going to hit. As he hit the triple, I'm sure you guys saw that Winker and Willie Adames were talking shit. I think that was
they were on the same team for a long time, bro. I think it's more fun, friendly banter, bro. He was on the fucking Brewers.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I didn't think it was very malicious, but it was. I watched the whole breakdown, but it was funny that Contreras threw dirt on his cleats to make him think that he was going inside. He was moving inside, and the pitch was way outside, and Winker just said "fuck you" and pulled it for a triple, but. That was very interesting to watch.
Manaea did get baptized versus these Brewers last week. And I do expect a pitcher who throws 5 different pitches to attack him differently today.
I agree.
Now, he doesn't have a lot of back-to-back history. So, I can't even go far enough back. Like, I went 3 years back and I couldn't find a back-to-back that wasn't in the freaking spring training or something like that. And that shit don't count. So, at the end of the day, I expect a bounce-back game from Sean Manaea. I expect these bats to be tightened up now a little bit more because they're down 1-0. And God forbid the Mets get a lead. Then them Dookie stains start coming out on the back of them pants, guys, because the Brewers to get swept by the Mets, that was not in the fucking cards. This team was on cruise control into the postseason, and we had a team who made a underground handshake with the Braves that were both getting in before the game.
Yeah. I mean, that was the funniest thing. I felt so bad for the Diamondbacks. And shout out to Noli, by the way. He said 2 weeks ago that the Diamondbacks weren't going to make the playoffs, and I had a good laugh out of it. He sent me it the other night, and it was so funny to me. I was like, yeah, of course whoever wins the first game, they're just going to lay down in the second game. And I love that you saw both teams or both players, sets of players came out and celebrate on the field. They talked to each other after the games. It was the whole thing. So I agree with you. And I believe in the zigzag theory here as well for Sean Manaea. Agreed 100%. I think he comes out here and pitches much better than, what was it? 3 1/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned on a home run, 1 K, 2 walks. I think he pitches much better than that in a zigzag theory. And for you guys wondering about Montas's last outing against the Mets, 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run on 6 Ks, 3 walks. I don't expect that to happen again here, but very interesting. Very interesting here. Let us move on to our last game. And it's a fun series because we obviously knew, I think everyone knew that the Padres were going to come away with that victory in some form or fashion yesterday because of, again, the Braves bullpen was ruined. That we all knew that was going to happen. Cross-country flight, the whole thing. But now we have a good pitching matchup here. Now we have what we probably should have had in game 1. Musgrove, Fried. Again, this is another bet for me. I moved on the under. I mean, I think this is maybe Max Fried's last appearance start for a Braves uniform, or in a Braves uniform, I should say. Joe Musgrove will probably have, his hot, whatever it is, icy hot ears in. And I think this is just another pitching duel here. So I'm on the under here, Sharpie, but I want to clear out and hear what you have to say about this game. These are 2 great pitchers and 2 pitchers I'm sure you've tracked.
I was watching the game from my house the other day, the last Musgrove game versus Flaherty, and Noli's at the game texting me, and I'm like, in the second inning, I'm like, bro, this fucker's cheating. I says, look at his right face, bro. It's just leaking oil, bro. And he texts me after the 4th inning. Yeah, he's fucking cheating. God damn it. But they're just not searching. He even watched. He says they're not even searching these guys. They're just pretend checking now. They're past that point. They're letting these guys pitch. It's the playoffs. So it is what it is. I'm not even taking that into my cap, guys. What we have is, like you said, probably, I guess they would take Chris Sale as their number 1 if they could. But I said it weeks ago. Don't be surprised if he hits the IL. And I got fucking made fun of. Like, oh, he's not hurt. Oh, fuck, okay. I don't fucking watch this shit every day of my life. I knew he was hurt. They knew he was hurt. They tried to keep it under wraps. Thank God, because they probably would have suckered me still if I would have had to bet Chris fucking Sale in a must-win spot, even though I knew he was hurt. It's just like betting Blake Snell, knowing that you shouldn't bet him, but you know what? Fuck it. But we're not in that spot. What we have, guys, is Max Fried and Joe Musgrove. And I thought, like everybody else, Padres can't hit a lefty, right? Oh, this is gonna be easy under. This is gonna be a dead under. I'm actually worried for Max Fried today, guys, because when I look at his plate discipline metrics, he is worse than league average at zone contact and chase contact, and that's not what you want to be versus these Padres. They've got at least 8 of the 9 guys projected that are better than league average at zone contact, with 5 of the 9 better than league average at chase contact. Meaning they're going to run a lot of pitch counts up on him. They're not going to they're not going to strike out versus him. Now, Machado, he could strike out. The guy ain't hitting him. He's 0.63 and 21 at bats. He ain't hitting him. I get it. But Tatis, he's all or nothing. He's swinging. He's batting 400. 7 bats ain't enough for me to take into and be like, oh my God. But the dude just swings out of his shoes. It was an example in the first inning yesterday. When you strike out like he does, when you put the bat on the fucking ball, it flies. Now, I knew someone who was on the under last night of King strikeouts, and I'm like, bro, this is the most electric. This is the most electric stadium right now, guys, in any of MLB. I know Phillies can get the rockin', but no, these Padre fans the last few years are selling the fuck out. and they're loud, and they're actually there, and they're there for it. So what do we get, guys? We get Max Fried, who in September, October, throughout his career, has his best ERA. We have Joe Musgrove throughout his career in September and October, has his best ERA. Okay, so we've got two guys coming into it cruising. Now we look at their postseason ERAs, they're almost identical. Max Fried, a boatload of innings, 4.57 ERA in the postseason. Joe Musgrove, he's got a 4.26 ERA, but it's a little bit skewed. He threw 7 innings, almost 7 innings in 2017 and just got demolished. The other time he was in the postseason was 2022, where he threw damn near 19 innings and had a 2.59 ERA. He was electric. And what I'm getting at, guys, is when Joe Musgrove got torched in 2017, his September ERA was above 5. When he was dominant in 2022, his September ERA was 2.5. His September ERA this year is exactly 2.5. That tells me Joe Musgrove is showing the fuck up today and going to do what he's been doing. This is not a spot too big for him. This is a spot he is ready for. And if once I hear the money, because I always like to hear the money, I actually lean Padres to win this game. I think this is a wait until the 6th inning to drop a hammer spot bet on the live under. God forbid it's tied or the freaking Padres have a lead. Drop your bank account on the fucking live under, because Braves got to go use everybody they have. And we know what the fucking Padres have at the back of the end. They have that big badonkadonk. They have ass. They got fucking Adams. They've got Scott. And they've got Suarez. They've got some ass, baby, okay? Let me tell you, those are 3 legitimate closers in the league. So what I'm getting at, guys, is we talked about it with Shamanaya. What do I like to bet? Team's up in the series. What do I like to bet there? Oh, Joe Musgrove's out. Oh, I've got a spot that tells me Joe Musgrove shows the fuck up in the playoffs, especially when he's shoved in September. Yeah, I got 2 units on Musgrove's outs over 16.5. And at first I had 1, and the more and more I looked at it, I was like, why? Why? Because you lost 1 outs bet yesterday, you're going to be a bitch? This is what you 2-unit bet the last 3 fucking years in the playoffs. You wait for these type of spots. And you know what? I hammered it. So I will also look to live bet the under. Like I said, God, please, I want the Padres to be up or the game to be tied whenever they pull Max Fried and freaking homeboy. Give me it after 6, because I don't expect them to come back out. So another thing I was looking at was Max Fried's outs under. But then I said, stop being fucking cute. Stop trying to call this game fucking to a damn T, Sharpie. You know, who are you, fucking Bill Belichick of the baseball world? You're just going to script the fucking game? Now, what worries me about taking the Padres money line, if there was any game 3 they wanted, Jose, tomorrow, what would it be?
Yeah. I mean,
it would be this game. Yeah. It would be, this is the most viewed. This is going to get the most watched, biggest fan bases of the 2 playing each other right now. This is going to get the views. So that scares me from jumping straight Padres money line right away. But I did want to hear if all the money was coming in on the Braves, because I do think it's a Padres spot.
Well, I too thought it was a Padres spot, but unfortunately it feels like everyone else feels like that. 70% of the bets, 72% of the money on the Padres here. We had a line opening up at -113 for the Padres. It's actually gone up to -114 now. But the thing is, about 3 hours ago, around 8:30-ish, it was -126 Padres, like you see on the screen. And now it's down to -114. And now, you know, that opened up at -113. Shout out to Ron Crawford. By the way, his spreadsheet dog play today is the Atlanta Braves here. So shout out to you, Ronnie. And I do have to change that music, Ron. So I just have to remind myself to do that. Hard Rock and Ron Crawford, we know how his deal. If I had to bet any side on this card, I'm already on the under in this game, I think it would be the Braves. And I just feel like this is going to be a low scoring game. And it's just Max Fried comes out, shows out, and it's 1-0 here. And we get that game 3, Sharpie, that you mentioned, that this would be the high-profile game 3. I do think the Padres do end up taking it still, but I thought the Braves were just in an all-time bad spot here yesterday, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see just keep pouring in on the Padres, and the line doesn't really move, and it makes the Braves just more appealing, honestly.
Yeah, well, when I see stuff like that, that tells me either Joe Musgrove gets cracked or Max Fried matches Musgrove, and I wouldn't. That's why I don't want to fade Max Fried either. Is good pitching beats good hitting, and if this dude does show up today, like, come on, are you going to be surprised? No, it's Max Fried, and like you said, this could be his last game, and he may be a Dodger next year. Oh.
He could be a Dodger, yes. I have dreams of him being in Boston, but we're poor now, so that's what that is. By the way, for totals bettors in here, 76% of the bets, 71% of the money on the under. We've gone from a 7 down to the 6.5 here. So everyone kind of knows that that's the sweet spot for unders. That's why I bet the under in this game. These are two great pitchers, and I do think I lean towards both these guys just kind of go out and just match each other. We get like 6 strong innings, and then we give away to the Padres bullpen, which we all know is probably the best in the rest of the postseason at the very least. And the Braves bullpen has been gassed. We just saw Iglesias 2 days ago blow a big save in that spot, and now he's got to do. And that was at home. Now he's got to do it on the road. In one of the Rockets, if not the best Rockets environment in baseball right now. So this feels like a very interesting game, but I think we do get a game 3. So it'll be a fun one. Sharpie, beautiful breakdown. I appreciate you coming on as always and breaking down these games. I mean, obviously you said you're not doing your show anymore, so yeah, I appreciate you just jumping on. Hopefully we can get more of these breakdowns here in the next coming days.
It's postseason, bro. I have nothing better to do, and I talk baseball all freaking day, so it doesn't bother me to talk it a little bit more. So I appreciate a spot to come talk on, and hopefully we cash these bets today, because I might be crying. I actually thought about live streaming the game, and then I said, no, this is how you have a heart attack, Sharpie. When you put this much amount of money on a bet and then go live stream it and have full-blown heart attacks on every pitch. Nah. Shout out to you guys who can do that type of shit, bro. But yeah, hopefully we keep it rolling. Playoffs are good to us. This is the type of spots I look for. And even if there are some people who goes, "Oh, I lost the 6.5. I'm not taking that under." If it's 2-1 after 6 and they're offering me a 5.5, I'm taking it. Okay? I don't fucking care. I'm looking for the situation with the back ends of these bullpens that I do want to back. I don't think we get blow up spots from Iglesias and Jimenez again. And yeah, I love this type of spot. These are 2 really good bullpens in my opinion, and do the pitchers show up? And I wouldn't be surprised if they both fucking show up. And the best part about being on Musgrove, say he gives up 2 runs in the second, third, or fourth, and it's 2-0 after 5. Guess who's coming back out to get my motherfucking outs prop? Joe Musgrove, because they're not going to burn their bullpen knowing the game is somewhat close right now. Musgrove's pitching okay, and we may have tomorrow. Where the Braves have no tomorrow, have to go to the bullpen as soon as there's a sign of trouble. And that was another reason why I leaned them outs under, man, because any given moment, they're going to go to the bullpen if there's runners on and they think Free can't get it done. Or the guy got a hit off of him the time before. Or say fucking Luis Arias, who intended bats, is batting 500 and he's coming up the bat with 2 on or bases loaded, say, they're going to have to go left. They're going to have to go to somebody else. This is baseball, guys. This is just the way it is. So, yeah, I can't wait to watch these guys get to their bullpens and just watch it fire. But, hey, watch the bullpens not even be involved. Watch both these guys just come out and go deep.
It's going to be a fun one. And you know what? It's funny. You just mentioned Luis Arias hitting 500. seen a lot of Max Fried in the Marlins, so I'm sure he's whispering.
One thing too, though, is I looked at all this. A lot of these guys that are hitting really well off of Max Fried, they're all fucking singles.
Oh yeah,
They're all hitting singles, so it's not like they're beating the dog piss out of the guy.
no, that's true, and hopefully for my heart rate and your heart rate here, Sharpie, it's just a clean, smooth sailing 0-0. We can just move on. And a 1-0.
Immaculate innings from both pitcher to start the game, bro. Just bop.
Like, okay, great. My heart rate's low today, guys. We're all good here. Beautiful work here, Sharpie. Where can the people find you if they want more, Sharpie?
You could find me in Tijuana, guys, because if you don't know where to find me by now, I really don't care. But I'll pop on here as much as I can. And yeah, appreciate you all who do know me, do follow me, and let's cash another ticket or
let us cash another ticket or two. Yes, I'm going to go over the first two games here real quick for everyone. I capped them quickly because I wanted to hear Sharpie's opinions, obviously, and I wanted to get to that here first. So I will go over the thoughts here real quickly again. First game, I moved on the under, Nasty Nate. I moved on the under. I saw you asking about this bet. Don't think either of these teams are hitting well, and I low-key think the Astros are done. I'll say that again. I low-key think the Astros are cooked. But let's talk about Hunter Brown real quick. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run against Seattle. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs against the Padres in his last 2 appearances. Went against Detroit twice. Went against Detroit twice. I will say I kind of think that if you haven't gone against Detroit in these last 2 months, it's definitely a different task. It feels like a different ball club, obviously. He faced them on January, February, March, April, May, June, July. In May and June, excuse me. I dominated them both times. 7 shutout, 5 innings, 1 earned run. And my guy Reese's Pieces Olsen has not faced the. That's very funny. I has not faced the Astros once, which again I kind of like, just having that never seen him before kind of mystery thing there. Don't know what it's like. Blah blah blah. We all kind of know this at this point. 4 innings, 2 hits. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs against Tampa Bay. 3 innings, 1 earned run against Baltimore. His last few starts. So we're definitely going to get a bullpen day from, you guys can tell, from the Tigers. They use, by the way, and this is the time of year where it doesn't really matter how many days or how many pitches you've gone, you're going to go again. Like Will Vest through almost 2 innings, basically, 1 1/3. I forget what it was. 24 pitches. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw him again. Jason Foley, 17 pitches, looks shaky, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw him again. Jackson Jobe has not pitched since Saturday. Don't be surprised if we saw him. I know it's a big spot, and he's a young pitcher, but he's electric, and the Astros haven't seen him. So just be aware of that. Astros side for the bullpen, Hector Neris, Josh Hader, and Brian King all through. Caleb Ferguson through a pitch, but no Abreu, no Presley. I expect Hader to be available again, so under for me there. And for game 2, quickly, Seth Lugo and Zach Eflin. Let's go to Seth Lugo's last few starts real quick. Seth Lugo, who, is probably going to finish in the top 5 in the Cy Young this year. He's been that good. Had 2 dominant innings against Atlanta before. It was like a tune-up. Go get out there, feel good, and then come out before the playoffs kind of thing, I believe. 2 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs. 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs against the Giants. Before that, against the hot Tigers, he went 4 2/3, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, which is a little bit of a worry, but still pitched fine. Generally throughout the whole year was really good. Against Baltimore, he's faced them once this year early and got touched up. 5 1/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs. So maybe a little trepidation there for Royals backers, but I still am on the under in this game as well. So yes, I am just on unders here today. Every under that isn't the Mets game is my card here. Under. I was close to adding the Braves and I still might. Zach Eflin, real quick as well. 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a home run allowed against New York, 5 walks, 1 strikeout. Did not have his control. I imagine his control being much better today. Just because if you have a bad start like that before with 5 walks, he's only allowed 5. That was the first most of the walks he's had all year, and he walked 4 guys in 1 outing, and he followed it up with 2 walkless appearances. So I expect him to be much sharper. Royals offense doesn't scare me, so under in this game as well. Both 7.5, both minus 120 for me. Shout out to Skunt Blaster. Nice to see you, Skunt Blaster. Headed to the city right now to get himself a nice rub and tug. God bless you, Skunt Blaster. What a nice way to start the day. Bless everyone's action. Let's get that cash. God bless you. God bless you, Skunt Blaster. That sounds like a great time. Detroit used to move to 7. That's good, JPZ. I'm glad I got in at the minus 120, I guess. That makes it very, very nice there. All right, let's go to college football here. Seems like our guest is ready to go, and I'm excited to hear him chat about his games. I don't remember how he did last week. I think he went 2-1, but I'm excited to hear how he did from the horse's mouth himself. I hope you have your 8 claps ready, because it is Mr. Wine Time Sports joining the program. Hello, Wine Time. Nice to see you. How's things going?
Yes, sir. What's up, Jose, my guy? Good to be here with you per usual, man, on a Wednesday. Man.
I like your background.
Yeah, switched it up a little bit today, see how it is. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, had to switch it up a little bit. But yeah, I think we went 2-1 last week. We did hit that 2-unit play. I gave it out here as a 1-unit play, but that under in that Penn State Illinois game, man, both teams scored a touchdown on the opening drive of the game. The total went way up, and there wasn't any more touchdowns scored until the 4th quarter. So God bless that. But yeah, we cashed. That's the most importantly. It was a losing week for me though. Did go 5-8 overall on the week. Kind of got beat up on Saturday. Had a good Thursday and Friday, but got beat up a little bit Saturday. But we're back today. We're gonna get this cash.
It's I do like your background, but Sweaty Butcher said that's a terrible play back there, Wine Time. He might be right. I don't know if that's a good play back there. That might be the trick play that the Bills tried to run the other day. But it is funny. Shout out to you, Sweaty Butcher. Nice to see you in the chat. Wine Time joining us here. I'm excited about your games here, Wine Time. We've got 3 on the card. Are you adding any, by the way?
No, we're gonna keep with the 3 right now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get cracking here. And it's so funny to me, Wine. You're a Pac-12 guy. You were a Pac-12 guy, and now you're a Big Ten guy. And you just every week, it's the Big Ten. And it's the Big Ten with a Pac-12 team in it as well. And it makes me laugh in here. So we'll start with your traditional Big Ten matchup here. Rutgers versus Nebraska. Shout out to Jimmy Valvano, because all I think about when I hear Rutgers is your family, your religion, and Rutgers basketball. That's all I think about. So shout out to Rutgers. They're having a great season here. They win the last Rutgers game that I vividly remember here, and I need to double check myself because it might not be their last football game, but that Virginia Tech game they played was scary. Now they beat Washington in their last game 21-18 here. That was the blackout game. So now I'm starting to jog my memory a bit here, but let's go to the markets here and let's hear our guy Wine Time Sports cook here, because he is the man with the plan here. And Wine Time, quickly, while I'm getting the markets set up, what are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on Dylan Raiola cosplaying on Patrick Mahomes? Is that a dress for the job you want to be kind of thing, or is this just creepy at this point?
Yeah, a little creepy at this point. I think he's got to be who he wants to be. At the end of the day, he's got to be his own person. He's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. We'll see if he keeps doing this pregame ritual. And he took we'll see. But I'm not a big fan of it. I thought it was cool after the first week, but after that, he's doing it before every game now. It's getting a little. I'm getting a little tired of it. Not gonna lie.
I'm all
Dylan Raiola, though. He is a dog, though, Jose. Let's get that straight. That kid can play football, man. He's got an arm on him, man. He's going to be really good at the next level for sure.
I'm all in on Dylan Raiola. Dress for the job you want. If you want to be Patrick Mahomes, just dress like him. I believe in you, Dylan. 58% of the bets, 42% of the money on Nebraska here. So sharp, bigger bets. I don't want to call it sharp per se, but bigger bets on Rutgers here. 42% of the bets, 58% of the money. Now, where this game interests me is the total here. 90% of the bets, 84% of the money on the over in this game. And I need to double check here, but we went from a 43 opener and we're at a 41.5. I mean, Wine, how are we not on the under in this game? Wine, please tell me we're on the under, right?
Yeah, Jose, we're most definitely on the under in this spot. As soon as this line came out on Sunday, I wanted to attack it. Waited until Monday, kind of see what the line was, see where all the money was. Man, I was not expecting to see the public being heavy on this over. You think of Nebraska, you think of Rutgers, two smash mouth type of football teams, two teams that like to run the ball at a very efficient rate. You look at Rutgers right now. We talked about it last week, but I mean, they're still one of the top teams in the nation and running the ball at a very efficient rate, at a 65% rate. They run the ball pretty much more than every team other than the Navy School Academies and a couple other teams. That's what Greg Schiano likes to do here, man. He likes to wear out the opposing defenses. He likes his running backs to go at these linebackers. Don't get me wrong. These linebackers from Nebraska can tackle in space and they can make some big time plays. They've got a lot of good guys over there on that defense. They're playing really well. But I mean, I think Rutgers is just going to go at them all night as they usually do. They let AK, their quarterback, kind of be the game time manager, does what he needs to do in certain situations. But also Nebraska, on the other hand, too, they've been running the ball at a really good rate, too, and their offensive line has looked really good. Rutgers' defensive line looked a little suspect the last couple weeks here. They're really just eating up the clock. That's how they win these games. I mean, you look at Washington, though, they gave up 6.7 yards a carry to them. Only gave up, I believe, 16 or 17 points in that matchup, though. It's just because of their red zone defense. These guys know how to play red zone defense. That's what Greg Schiano likes to do. That's what Nebraska likes to do, too. I think this total was way too high at 43. I think it's going to end up getting down to probably about a 40.5 by Saturday. And that's with the public coming in, hammering this over and making it more appealing for them to take. I get it. It's a low total for two Big Ten schools. But like I said, these are two smash mouth programs, two coaches that like to run the ball. They're going to go at the opposing defense. They're going to want to take time off the clock. Dylan Raiola is going to get the ball to his playmakers when he can. And AK is going to do what he can. He's been doing a really good job over there for Rutgers, though, leading them to a 4-0 start. He came over from Minnesota. Like I say, he's a game time manager. Doesn't have a big arm by any means. Just kind of gets the ball in the right places, 5-6 yards at a time. But with that being said, Rutgers, I'm surprised they're not ranked. I thought they honestly could have been ranked after the Virginia Tech win. Then they beat Washington last week in Rutgers. I'm surprised they're not ranked. I think after this one, I'm not on a side in this one. I do think Rutgers can cover this +7, though, just because I do think they're going to eat up the clock. But I'm on the under 43 in this one, in a spot where I think I already mentioned these guys are going to run the ball. Both defenses play really good in the red zone. Both these coaches are conservative. So, yeah, give me the under here. 43, I gave it out on Twitter on Monday night. I'll still take the 41.5. If you can get a 42 at a little bit juicier, take that. But take this under, guys. This is going way under 40.
All right, well, beautiful. Under there, Wine Time Sports, and then it's at Wine Time Sports on Twitter. Get all your plays early. I agree with you wholeheartedly here, Wine Time, and I'm going to move on the under in this game as well. I just truly believe these are just sweet spot bets for us. Everyone on the over. We're going down price wise. So under for me, I'm getting a shit ass number, 41.5 minus 110, but I will take that as well with you here, Wine Time. So it's very exciting. Jose. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Game 2. We talked about the trend that Wine Time is on. Let's talk about the Trojans fight on against Minnesota here. It's a Minnesota team. I have not thought about Minnesota since their first week here, and we all remember that first game against North Carolina. When we thought North Carolina was going to be good, I guess, we had hope for them. We bet them, and then Max Johnson, I believe, gets hurt, and it's kind of been down the drain since there. Minnesota comes off the tight loss against Michigan, and I think we all kind of know Michigan's a little fraudulent at this point. But PJ Fleck does a good job hyping up the boys and getting them going for big games here. And he's got another one here against USC. Now, it's funny. USC and all the other Pac-12 teams have kind of the same issue, and Oregon is probably the team that's best equipped for this issue, but it's just a case of, and they played Michigan as well, we remember, and they lost to Michigan 3 points as well. But it is a case of, Pac-12 kind of not ready to face Big Ten, run the ball, smash bounce defense kind of thing. Now, Wisconsin is not the same. They beat Wisconsin last week, 38-21. I'm sure everyone that's Wisconsin fans kind of wishes they were back to run the ball mode. But I kind of feel like Minnesota might be able to do that here to USC. I'm very interested to see what your take is on this game. Let's go to the markets here first. We have on the sidewise here. Wow, 16% of the bets on Minnesota, but 50% of the money on Minnesota. Huge bets on Minnesota, it seems. So that is nuts there. And for the total here, we have 47% of the bets on the under and 58% of the money on the under here. So let's see where this has gone sidewise with those big bets on Minnesota. It's 8.5 and it's been 8.5 on Bet Online. Has not moved any there. Bovada, if we want to use them for an example, 8.5 to 7.5. Bookmaker is up to a 9. It went down from 8.5 to 7.5 and comes back up to a 9. That is fascinating. And Heritage as well goes from a 9. It opened up at 9 at Heritage and is now down to an 8 here. So this is very interesting stuff. All different movements and lines across these different books. For the total here, real quick before I pass it to you, Wine Time, we have a 52 total. It's now down to a 52 opener. Now down to a 51 here. Got down to a 50, came back up. Very interesting. Total pretty split, but sharp action on Minnesota here. Are we going to see another replay of a smash mouth football against Pac-12 football here, Juan?
I think so. You look at Minnesota coming off a loss to Michigan in a game that really looks a lot closer on the score sheet than it actually was. They let them get back in the game there in the fourth quarter. Minnesota was able to move the ball and prevent D. You look at USC on the other hand, a couple weeks ago, had the lead, very much should have won the game against Michigan at the Big House in Michigan. But on that fourth down, they ended up giving up the touchdown to lose the game. Heartbreaking loss. That being said, though, this USC defense, man, I emphasized this a lot this offseason, talked about it a lot, how much they've improved just by bringing D'Anton Lynn in. This guy's completely changed this whole defense, this whole program, the whole mindset on the defense. These guys are out there playing for him. These guys are out there making tackles. Last year, they were missing so many tackles in open space. They didn't look like they knew how to tackle last year. But this guy's completely revamped this defense, and they're the real deal. I mean, they're very efficient against the run, too. Very good run defense. You look at PJ Fleck over the years, Jose. What does he like to do? He always likes to run the ball. This year, though, man, he's only running the ball at a 43% rate. Which is one of the lower rates in the nation. Very surprising. They've been behind in a couple of these games, but they're really letting the new quarterback transfer, Max Brosmer, try to set up screens, try to set up slant plays for him. He doesn't make too many big throws down the field by any means, but they're very much using him a lot, and he's running with the ball as well. But I want to see Minnesota start running the ball more here. Their offensive line isn't as strong as it usually is. You think of Minnesota, Big Ten football, you think of the offensive line, that's always big boys up there. You think about very good running attack. Both of those this year just they haven't been hitting home on them. I think this game they're really going to need to, especially playing here at home against USC. This is going to be a hostile environment. Minnesota very much so has a very good home field advantage. Everyone's going to be there for this game. This is a game that, I'm not going to lie, looking at everything, looking at the market, this is a game Minnesota could win outright, Jose. This is a spot that we might have to look at the plus 250, plus 275 for a little more than a sprinkle because I think they can get these guys at home. We're talking about USC coming off a big win against Wisconsin. I mean, that game, I believe USC was down 21-10 at the half. Explosive second half, really good adjustments on the second half by the defensive coordinator and by, of course, Lincoln Riley, one of the better offensive minds in college football. I mean, he's been proving that over the last decade. He's got a guy in Miller Moss that listens to him and does everything that he's asked to. Same with Max Brosmer. They don't ask these guys to do too much, but they do what they're asked to, and that's good enough. But looking at this, Jose, I want to see Max Brosmer. I want to see him make some bigger time throws. I want to see them run the ball. I want to see them start running the ball very early and often and burn time off the clock so this USC defense or USC offense stays off the field. Go after these USC linebackers, as I mentioned, the last matchup too. Run the ball against these guys. Make them tackle you. Hurt them. Tire them out by the second half. Ground and pound. I mean, USC isn't used to going against an efficient round game like a Big Ten school like Minnesota. I still don't think that they're ready for that yet. So if they pound the ball, I think they can very much stay within 10 points in this one. I got it at plus 10, minus 120. I paid a little juice on it because it was a 9.5. I bought up on Monday night. I just wanted that. I wanted that double-digit points, though. Give me Minnesota in a game. I think that they honestly are going to get USC outright. I think this is going to be a 3-point possession. Either way you look at it, it's going to whoever has the ball in their hand last. So give me Minnesota.
All right, Minnesota for wine time, and you got the 8.5.
I got 10 at minus 120.
Oh,
yeah,
great
on Monday night.
Great.
Yeah,
that is why you follow Wine Time Sports there on Twitter, and I agree with you. I do like Minnesota in the spot here, and just to recap it one more time, I'll mention it one more time for you guys. 16% of the bets and 50% of the money on Minnesota there against the spread. So do like them there. Agreed there. Let's go to our last game here, Wine Time. And before we do, let me quickly remind people that we do have a San Antonio card show, trading card show, collectible show coming to our lovely shores here November 16th and 17th. We also have officially announced trade night. So if you're a guy trying to, move some cards one way or another, there's a trade night on November 16th as well. The Break Room is a bar hosting this as well. It's a great name for a card show kind of thing. So come on out. 16th and 17th, we will be there. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I can't wait for it. I'll be doing live shows there. We're going to be doing a lot of different card content, and I will be trying to purchase my very first card as well. So that'll be very fun as well. All right. One last game for you, Wine Time. And we stay in the Big Ten. But we go to the tippy top of it at least. Ryan Day's Ohio State versus Iowa. No more nepotism at Iowa. I'm very excited to hear what you have to say about this game, but let me start by doing the markets first. And wow, Iowa, 63% of the bets, 79% of the money on them here against the spread. And I will go to the spread here first, and let's talk about where that has moved. Very interestingly enough, we opened up at 20, and now it is at 19.5 at BetOnline. Heritage and bookmakers still are showing the 20s, but there's still more bets in action on Iowa there. Expecting a little bit of ground and pound kind of grinded out game expectedly. Wow, total-wise, shocking. 65% of the bets and 99% of the money early, but 99% of the money on the over in this game. Wine. So that's surprising to me here, obviously. You'll have to keep me up to date with this Iowa offense here. 44.5 was this opener. It got down to 43.5 actually, but quickly grows right back up to 44, goes to 45.5, and selling right now at 45.5 at our friends at BetOnline. Heritage just has a 48.5 here. So offense expected here, Wine. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, Jose, I'm going to give a quick shout out to the chat. Shout out Markel. Shout out Wager Detective, Kong's Clips, Nunya, Tori Coker, my guy Tom Leach, Nunya. Shout out to all you guys being in there, man. Appreciate you guys for showing out for this one. Yeah, this is a game I really like, Jose. Going into this one, I'm on Iowa in this spot. I think it's too many points. It's kind of crazy. Coach Kirk has been at Iowa now for 20-something years, man, as the head coach. Been with the program for, I believe, over 30 years now. He's never won in Ohio State as a head coach, which I found very interesting. It's one of the tougher places to play. Not a lot of teams do win in Ohio State, but for a coach of his stature, I was a little bit shocked. I'm a big fan of Coach Kirk. I love what he's doing over there at Iowa with the defense. I think he has probably one of the better defenses in the nation. He's had the best defense in the nation the last decade, I would say, overall. He knows how to run a defense. It's always been the offense. What does he do? He goes out and grabs Tim Lester, from the NFL, was a college coach before that as well, completely revamped this Iowa offense. I mean, think about this, Jose. They weren't even averaging 10 points last year. They're averaging now 30 points a game, which is 57th in the nation for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah. And they've got a really good running back. I talked about him last week, I believe, and Caleb Johnson, elite running back from Iowa. This kid is flying under the radar. This kid's going to go on day 1 or day 2 of the NFL draft, either this year or next year. Running all over the field for this Iowa offense. Doing whatever he wants. They've got a good offensive line over there. This is the thing, Jose. Ohio State. This is a team I haven't bet on an Ohio State game this year yet because it's a team I really like to watch and see where they go from. And this offense is really starting to take off now. Chip Kelly is at the helm. He's got total control of this offense, and we're seeing it. I mean, he's got one of the better offenses in the league, and it's crazy. He's only running the ball at a 51% rate. He was running the ball at nearly a 60% rate at UCLA. Kind of surprising there. And Ohio State's got some really good running backs. But yeah, they brought Will Howard over, who's a perfect quarterback for Chip Kelly because he likes to use his legs. And you don't have to ask him to do too much. He's going to put the ball in the playmaker's hands, and that's what Ohio State has. They've got 2 really good dynamic wide receivers over there. All you have to do is throw screen passes to them, and if they have open space, they're going to take off and run with it. They don't ask Will Howard to do too much for him, throw it downfield. Iowa secondary is going to need to be cleaned up a little bit. That is one thing I will say they are struggling a little bit on the defensive side of the football with. We saw them struggle in the first half against Minnesota on a couple drives against Mac Rosmer, which definitely does scare me a little bit considering this is an elite Ohio State offense. Ohio State only giving up 1.9 yards to carry, which is 4th in the nation on defense. What does Iowa like to do? They do like to run the ball. It's if Caleb Johnson's going to be able to get off in this one. They've got a couple other good running backs too. They're going to have to rotate these guys in and out, but they're going to have to get chunkage yards play. They're going to have to go 4-4-4. They're going to have to move up down the field pretty slow, keep this offense off the field for Ohio State because they are dynamic and they will score very fast. Iowa, they're going to need to tackle these receivers as soon as they get the ball in their hands. That is one thing I do like about Coach Kirk over there at Iowa. I mean, he doesn't allow too many big plays, but he could also limit the screens and stuff like that, those small plays like that. It's going to be if Cade McNamara as well, if he can complete some passes down the field, because if they do stop the run, if they do load the box, they got a good edge rusher over there in Jack Sawyer over at Ohio State. Really good edge rusher. Not a great pass rusher. He's more of a run stopper edge rusher, but he's one of the better at doing that in the nation. This guy's going to be a first-round draft pick over at Ohio State. He's a 4-year starter over there. Kid's legit. I think Iowa's going to want to impose their will, though, and they're going to pound the rock. They might have to settle for some field goals, but if their defense can hold up, if their defense can hold Ohio State to less than 30, I think they can very much easily cover this game. I have this more being like a 31-17 type of game in favor of Ohio State. I'm not saying Iowa's going to go into Ohio State and win. Very tough place to play, but I think Kirk's going to get everything he has. He already has a loss this season. I know he's more focused on Big Ten play than college football play, but that loss to Iowa State was a pretty big loss for them. They want to win every game from here on out. This is a game they're going to win, so I think they're going to throw everything they can at Ohio State to at least stay in this game. So give me the +20. I gave it out on Monday night at Twitter. It's a 19.5. You could probably still get a 20 anywhere you look. But I think it's too many points for this Ohio State against this Iowa team. And I just can't take Ohio State -20 against an Iowa defense. I'm not going to do it. So give me Iowa.
All right, Iowa. And what was the number you got on Monday?
I got +20 -110. It's sitting at 19.5 right now. You could probably find in the chat, guys, you could probably find a 20 somewhere for maybe -117, -120 somewhere. Not sure. I don't have the books open right now, but I'm sure there's some 20s out there.
There are, yeah. You can still get a 20 -108 at Heritage. So
there we go.
Shout out to Heritage there. And I like your action here, Wine. I like your action. Here we go. 3-0, 2-in-1 day income. It's going to be a lot of fun. Wine, thank you for joining me here on these Wednesdays. You are definitely helping me on college football here. You helped me with some Stanford cash the other day. And we did share some heartbreak together with the Baylor, Colorado. So, and that will never go away. That's
never. I'll remember that for forever. Exactly. That was wild, man. That was wild.
Yeah, basically 2 Hail Marys you give up there, and in 2 seconds is hilarious. But that will always bind us together, Wine time. So Thank you so much for joining us here, Wine. Anything you want to plug before you get out of here?
Yeah, Jose. Question: is C-Mac talking about this Washington-Michigan game at all today, or no?
No. I would love to hear you talk about it. If so,
Yeah. Let's break it down. Let's give him a little bit extra time. This was a game I really wanted to talk to Jimmy about because I know I'm going to talk him onto this game. I texted him everything he needs to know though to cap this game, and I think he's going to agree with me in this spot. But we're gonna go to Michigan at Washington in this spot, Jose.
All right, beautiful. Go ahead.
All right, let me bring up the market right now, guys. This is a game, guys, I didn't look at too long on Sunday or Monday. This is a game I started looking at yesterday, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. I capped this game for over an hour, looked at all the ins and outs on it. Crazy to think. Let's see. So Michigan at Washington. Michigan, the number 10 team in the nation, probably the worst offensive number 10 team in the nation I've seen in quite some time. Bringing in Alex Orji, this kid can't throw the ball. He could run the ball. He's a game-time manager. They've got two really good running backs over there in Mullins and Edwards, two guys that can really get off. They always got good running backs over there, and they do have a really explosive defense over there. They're doing good things. They got the big win against USC. With that being said, it was at the big house. It's at home. Jose, it's week 6, and did you know that this is Michigan's first road game of the season?
Christ.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how Michigan got so lucky with that scheduling. But with that being said, this is their first true road game, and they're going into Washington, a team that's not ranked, that's coming off some close losses in the games that they lost. They should have beat Washington State. They were in the game with Rutgers. They had every chance to win. And this is a hostile environment over here at Husky Stadium, I believe, where they're playing. The crowd's going to be rocking and rolling for this Big Ten matchup. Michigan, man, coming off a couple close wins. They pulled off a win against Minnesota last week. Score was a little bit more out of hand than it actually looked, as I mentioned, but they still gave up points in the fourth quarter. And you don't want to let this Washington team back in the game by any means. Looking at, let me pull my notes up. Yeah, so the Michigan
shit on the fly, lads. We're doing this shit on the fly. That's how good we are here.
Yeah, Michigan defense, it's elite. They had one of the better defensive lines in the nation last year. They still have a really good defensive line this year. They're really good against the run. They're getting to the pass rush. They're doing everything they can on defense. It's the offense that is really struggling. Jonah Coleman, running back over there at Washington, averaging 6.5 yards a carry for them. One of the better running backs in all of college football. This guy's flying under the radar too. Not a lot of people were talking about this guy going into the season, but he's a bruiser, man. He was doing well against Rutgers last week. He was doing whatever he wanted. My question for Jed Fish is if you can get him involved earlier and if you can get him the ball a little bit more than he already is, give him some screen passes, let him operate in space. This kid's really good with the ball in his hand. He's a good runner. He's good size too. This guy's an NFL back. That being said, Will Rogers on the other end, the Mississippi State transfer, 5-year guy. This guy's got some good tools in the shed. He showed him at times. He showed that he is more of a game time manager for this offense. He can complete some passes down the field. They don't ask him to do it too much. But man, this is a game Washington is going to need and want, Jose, in the Big Ten. Being at home here, there's a reason why Washington is a favorite in this matchup. They're not ranked. They have 2 losses. They're going against the number 10 team in the nation. Washington's going to take care of business here. I think they're going to run at will, and I think Will Rogers is going to do what he needs to when they're in the red zone. They do struggle in the red zone, and Michigan is good in the red zone. With that being said, they've had a lot of games at home this year. This is a game on the road where I do think they are going to struggle big time in this spot. First time facing Washington in quite some time, playing at Husky Stadium, and I don't know when. This is a Washington spot, Jose. We're all over them. Washington's going to need to stop Michigan's run attack. That is one thing I mentioned earlier. Mullins, he's kind of emerged as a lead back over there at Michigan. Everyone thought Donovan Edwards was going to be a first-round draft pick, one of the first running backs off the board in this year's draft going into this season. He's been limited. He's been getting his touches too. He's just not doing too much with the ball. Mullins is very much way more efficient. He is becoming more of the number 1 back in this running back rotation. But yeah, we're thinking, bringing up Jonah Coleman once again, crazy stat I have for you, Jose. He has, to opposing defenses, has forced 35 missed tackles. Kid's hard to bring down, man. Michigan does know how to tackle, but I think if they continue to use this guy against them, he's going to get off on a couple carries. He's going to get into the end zone, and Will Rogers is going to do what he needs to do to get them the win here in a game that they need at home. They need this game for Big Ten play. Judd Fish, this is a big game for him. They're going to show up to play in this one. Give me Washington money line minus 135. I'm going to stay away from the spread because I think they're going to get this one outright. I don't need the spread. I'm taking the money line minus 135.
All right. Well, I am on there with you. One time officially Washington Huskies.
Also, Jose, sorry to interrupt. I don't think we talked about the market either. I mean, look at this market, Jose. 27% of bets, 29% of money on Washington. Sharper bets coming in, man. We're looking at the money line. 46% of bets, 98% of money on Michigan. All the money's on Michigan. Don't be surprised if you see this line. Make it a little more appealing for Michigan backers. That's why I got in on Washington earlier. Don't be surprised if this goes to a -3, even though everyone's pounding Michigan. We're going to see that reverse line movement here, I think, come into place in a spot where on Saturday, especially when number 10 team Michigan going against an unranked team being barely a favorite, being a dog, I'm going to take that all day. Give me Washington.
Agreed. I like the look. I like the spot. Michigan team that is not good offensively on the road. I like all of it here. So that was beautiful wine time. Another bet there. Pull from the ashes. We find another bet here for the weekend. Wine, again, thank you so much for joining me here. I'm excited about this weekend now. Thank you for the action here, Wine. Where are the people going to find you next?
Yeah, Jose, always a pleasure being on the show with you, my guy. Follow me on X, Wine Time Sports, guys. Get me up there. I'm up a little over 700 followers now. I think since I started doing this show, I was at around 500. So getting more followers every day, guys. I appreciate you guys for supporting me too. Everyone that hits the DMs shows support there too. Just want to cash these tickets for you guys and give out winners. So appreciate you as always, Jose. I'll see you, I'm sure, on Friday sometime. And if not, I'll see you Saturday. Good luck to you on all your MLB bets today. Good luck to everyone in the chat. And good luck to C-Mac coming up.
All right. Well, beautiful work, Wine Time Sports. Thank you, as always, for joining me here on a lovely Wednesday afternoon here. And again, if you're not already, follow Wine Time Sports on Twitter at Wine Time Sports. Get the action. And it's beautiful. Look at Razor. Look at Razor. Just right as I say it, the link is in the chat. God bless you, Razor. God bless you. And thank you. I hope Jordan Love has a better week this week than he did last week. Just for that, Razor, just for that. So let's bring in our next guest. And our next guest, riddled with COVID, and he's fighting through it, battling to give us winning college football plays, the heart of Las Vegas, the soul of Las Vegas is more pure. With Mickey Mac, Daddy Connor Mac joining the program. Connor, how are you feeling?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound great.
You good? Okay. I'm all right. I still have COVID. It's just lingering a little bit. I was feeling better yesterday, and it's kind of rough this morning. Sweaty, cold, the whole fucking thing. But we're here, Jose. Shout out to everyone here. Shout out to Wine Time. I appreciate it. Hopefully the COVID, I'll be negative here, at least in a day or two. I can't believe I got COVID again. So, it was awful. Saturday was awful, for sure. Kent Davies, Wine Time, you just went. Shout out to you, my man. I appreciate it. Razor, Mel, all you guys in here. Oldie, shout out to all you. Just Wager Detective. So this guy having some chat earlier. I heard he loves Babano. You love Ian Cameron Babano. Go watch Hitting the Books. You can check out all the breakdowns of Babano since you love him. Wager Talk. That's Hitting the Books. Type it in, on YouTube. You can check us out. So there you go.
I got a good laugh out of him asking or saying that Babano deserved his own show. His own show. You are in for a surprise, Wager Detective. You are in for a great surprise, Wager. Hitting the Books. Hitting the Books. Connor Mack. Babano breaking down a shitload of college football games.
Wait, real quick. Male, I'm always pale, so maybe I'm out of it. I'm a little stills, but you're never going to get me looking tan. So, but a little under the weather. Let's get through it, though. 2-1 last week. Kansas, I learned the hard way with them, Jose. Couldn't get it done. You know,
Yeah, we'll
finally,
take 2-1 though.
yeah, we'll take it. I can't complain. How about Sam Houston down huge early? Came back and won. That was it.
Yeah,
Outright.
you hate to see that. You hate to see that, Connor. Yeah, I was just distraught to see Texas State.
What do you mean you hate to see it? You had him? You faded me?
No,
no, you're joking
Texas
around.
State.
You're fucking with me. Okay.
Yeah, Texas State. I wanted them to lose very much so. So fuck him too. But let's get into it. It's going to be a good one. We have a great matchup here to start this card off. A very disappointing Ole Miss loss last weekend, especially because I know several people on Ole Miss futures, Natty, overs and wins, et cetera, et cetera. It's now, thankfully, in this new college football, one loss does not cripple you like last year's would. If you had an Ole Miss ticket for a Natty, and it was only 4 teams in the playoffs, you already ripped that shit up. You're done. Now you still have a fighting shot here. 9.5 points on the road against South Carolina here. And Connor, I have not had the pleasure of watching South Carolina yet, but all I hear about them is that somehow they have cloned Jadeveon Clowney, and they've made like 4 of them, and they all just prowl around the defensive line for South Carolina. I've heard that their defensive line is incredible. I have PTSD of Beamer ball growing up. Unfortunately, Frank Beamer made my childhood hell and made Virginia Tech a juggernaut. Now we have his little kid here. Connor, I don't know what to make of this game. I think 9.5, if I'm being objective here, 9.5 is a little bit, cheap for Ole Miss here. I don't know. 51% of the bets and 82% of the money on South Carolina, though, Connor. So a lot of people loving some South Carolina. Big bets on South Carolina here. As for where this started off at 9.5 for this game, minus 115, and it is now still just a 9.5 minus 110. It really has not moved much. Very interesting there. As for the total here, let's check out and see where the market is on this one here, as I keep just hitting all these random ass commands. We have, and I should have probably known that searching south is not going to help me find South Carolina here, but 68% of the bets and 96% of the money on the over in this game. Wow. A lot of over action. This went from 42.5. It is now a 43.5 at Bet Online, and bookmakers showing a 54 already here. So, Connor, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, there's a few games, I had stayed. I didn't for the show, but I ended up taking, Illinois last week. I don't love doubling up too much, but I'm gonna be on 2 in this game. You just talked about all the over money here on this total. I thought it's too much. By the way, are there 54s out there?
Yes.
I really wanted
54 right now at our friends at Bookmaker, minus 110.
All right, as long as 54, I'm good. I'll be on the under. But let's get to the other one here. Ole Miss last week, finally played a really good team. This Ole Miss team is still excellent. And this line, though, showing it would have been, if they beat Kentucky by 2 touchdowns, are we getting 2 touchdowns here with South Carolina? That's a little bit, I think, of the loss value in this one. But I think Dart will be good. Lane Kiffin's been pretty good off a bye. So all the Ole Miss backers, you'll like that. And last year and a half, they've been really good off a loss, and they've been very good on the road as a touchdown favorite. So if you like hearing all that, you got to like Ole Miss. But I can't back them here in this spot. I think South Carolina is going to be ready to play in this one. And it looks like Sellers will be back. There's still questions. There's a lot. We'll get to our other games too, Jose, where there's so many question marks, and these coaches don't say anything. Next thing you know, kids just don't play. We'll get to Baylor. It was almost like their whole defense was out against BYU, and nobody knew about it. Suspensions, the whole thing. So we'll hit it. But this has always been a tough place for Ole Miss to go here and play. I think it'll be rocket. Watching the Old Dominion, so I was on the Old Dominion early in the year. I was in that Kentucky game. I thought Kentucky played an unreal second half. Common opponent here, And that you don't take anything from it. It's just, it is what it is. You look at how you want. They won 31-6 at Kentucky. And then that LSU game, the defense didn't look great. But you talked about that line. They have some good D-line and linebackers, the South Carolina team. And I don't know if we get a shootout. Ole Miss just isn't big play potential, but they haven't just gone up and down the field. You know what I mean, Jose? And their defense is better. Ole Miss's defense is solid, and the numbers back it up in this one. So, man, I think this game's tight. I want South Carolina. Give me the 9.5.
All right. Well, beautiful breakdown there, South Carolina, and you're on the under 54 as well, correct?
Yeah. Give it to me. Let me turn this air on.
Oh, go ahead. Please do. We need to keep you alive, Connor. We need to keep you alive. 9.5 here, minus 108 for Mr. Connor Mack picks here. And I'm writing that down now. Beautiful work there. And we will keep on rolling here. I'll set up his next game. And it is a battle in Florida. Now, I knew Florida was bad this year, but I was surprised to see Florida be underdogs here against Central Florida. And I mean, obviously, we know what UCF is at this point. They're not really surprising anyone with Blake Bortles' seasons anymore, but they're still a solid squad. And let's touch on the market here because we have sharp action on Florida. 36% of the bets, 66% of the money on Florida here. And we have this line opening up at Florida minus 1.5. And it, like I said, flips to 2.5 here. Wow. It was 3 at one point for UCF, but that flip is pretty interesting there. Like I said, minus 1.5 goes to 1 and flips to minus 1 UCF and climbs from there. Very interesting. And I'll say it again, 36% of the bets and 66% of the money is on Florida. And the line flips against them here. As for the total here, let me find it now here. Pretty much the same thing here as the total, or as the spread here. We have 26% of the money, of the bets, and 67% of the money on the over in this game. And again, we have this line opening up at, and sorry for the lack of speed in having this all up already, a lot of Florida schools, 59 opener, and is now a 61 at BetOnline here. 61 total now. Bovada showing you 60.5. Bookmaker and Heritage 61 and 60.5 there as well. But it has gone up, like I said, from that opener 59.5 to 61. Connor, I was surprised to see Florida as the underdog. I knew they were bad, but are they really this bad, Connor?
Yes and no. I talked about I don't want the 2 quarterback that they're doing. You stick to one, and I think it might be time to just get rid of Mertz. There's just troubling times for Florida and the Swamp. I have to be honest, as much as I think I had 2 last week, I just went 1-1. But they've been too consistent for me, Jose, and there's about 5 this week that I really, really like, and a couple more. But this was the total for me, the over. I just at this number, and there's 60.5. Can you get not 61?
Let me tell you right now here, but keep on rolling.
Yeah, okay. 61 would be fine, but I'll tell you, I like 60.5 even better. Both these teams here, UCF 4-0 to the over. I've been on 2 of those, and Florida 3-1 to the over in this one. Both these defenses are very good. UCF ranked anywhere, 75 to 80. Florida's 112. And the UCF offense has been great. 5th, they're getting 542 yards. They're going to be able to run it with Jefferson. I think there's going to be big holes. One thing, Florida, out of these 2 schools, UCF also one of the fastest plays per minute. Go, go, go. All these stuff that match up, check my boxes for the over. Florida is a little bit slow. They rank towards the bottom, but the offense has been efficient, and they're at home here Jose. I thought this should be 64. That's what I had that. So anything underneath, I had to hit this over. I think both offenses flourish, and even if one team comes out and has an even better day, it's that classic 45-21. But I think even both teams could get in the 30s here, and we got a good one back and forth.
All right,
and this line's flipped on the side like you talked about.
Yes.
A lot of Florida, this has gone a lot of UCF. That just says too, even maybe look at their team total, UCF. If you just want to look that way, I don't mind it. I just think there's going to be plenty of possessions where they get up and down quick here and score.
Well, Connor, we can indeed get you a 60. You said 60. No, 61. I can get you
a
61.
60. I thought there was a 60 and a half.
No, I just refreshed here, and that moved to 61 at Heritage at 11:40, so about 20 minutes ago, apparently. 40 minutes ago, I should say.
I was seeing if I could look
so
around.
If you have one, let
the
me know.
61's okay, yeah. I will. Let me see if I can find one.
All right. Beautiful. An over there for Connor. That is nice. All right. I like that. Let's keep rolling here. We're making great time here. It does help that there's not a shitload of baseball games here, so we can take our time.
How about the baseball, huh?
Yeah, all the underdogs. Dogs.
Dogs and under? Come on.
Yeah, I'm on 3 unders here today, so I'm excited about the action, to say the least here. But let's talk Georgia Tech and Duke here. The Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech, who have had a very interesting football season, to say the least. But let's talk Duke first. Duke coming off of, I don't know what to rank the North Carolina-Duke rivalry in football, but it matters. They win a 21-20 game. Is there going to be a little hangover from that? I'm very interested to see how that will all unfold. Georgia Tech, at one point, they were the apple of everyone's eyes when we all thought, wow, they beat Florida State. Florida State's a good football team. Watch out for the Ramblin' Wreck. And it turns out that Florida State sucks, and Georgia Tech is not that great either. They lose 31-19 to Louisville last time out. I don't know what to make of either of these squads here, Connor, so I'm glad you're here. 65% of the bets, and I just clicked away from the page, but 65% of the bets and 44% of the money on Duke here. Interestingly enough, 75% of the bets, 59% of the money on the over in this game. For the total, we started at 54. We're at a 55 right now. And for the spread, we started at -8 for Georgia Tech. We are at 9, and we're starting to show some 9.5s here as well, Connor. What do you think?
I know. This is one where I can't believe it. This is going to go to 10. I think it's just a dead mistake in this one. Yeah, and to Tom Leach, this is what we do on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's where, from early on Monday, the limits are off. So, and that's where you see most of these people get down with bigger bets, yesterday, today, and you'll see it even move. You'll see the initial movement, from Sunday night, from where they are to Monday morning where we do the show, hitting the books. And then it's a little different, but I just wanted to hit that up in the chat there. I'm a little surprised this could hit 10. I don't buy it here. I think this Georgia Tech team is solid. Already been on them a few times, faded them, and that's where I want to be here in this game. How good is that win against Florida State here? Look early. I saw them get beat up against an average, Syracuse team at home with a couple late touchdowns. They were in it against Louisville, but couldn't knock on the door. Down, missed field goal, fumbles, and I think we could see more of that. One of the biggest keys is Haynes King in this. He's been excellent. He's only had 1 pick, Jose, and he's here at home. And Georgia Tech's off a bye. So everyone's, I think, feeling this is a great spot. And Brent Key as a favorite, his record just hasn't been great. Has he covered? Yeah. But you want Georgia Tech catching points. That's the way to look at them. And they're almost double digits here. I don't get it. And I know Duke, this isn't the easiest spot. They're 5-0. They're probably not as good as a record, but they beat who's in front of them. They came out flat last week, against North Carolina, and we're down 17-0, but fought back and got the win. Malik Murphy, what he did last week, he's got to be a little better. He's only 15 of 34 for 209 and a touchdown. He just needs to be more accurate, but that's fine. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, he just needs to be a little bit better, because I think they're going to be able to run it, and both teams are going to be able to run it here. I think the Duke defense might be a little bit better in this game. Duke, against the pass, only 155. They give up their 28th overall defense, but they do give up 133 on the ground. Georgia Tech has that solid offensive line that's been there 3 or 4 years. But I had this line at 3, Jose, 3.5, 4 tops for Georgia Tech. I just find a ton of value here with Duke. And when these teams get together consistently, they're just tight games. No one pulls away. And I don't see it here unless we see something where Georgia Tech's just really fired up, healthy off the bye. I think Duke hangs in this game. So give me the 9.5. This is one I could get 10, but we're here at the show. Give me the 9.5. I think it's enough.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you wait around, you might indeed get a 10. 9.5 plus 1.
I mean, it happened. 5. It happened to Sam Houston. I didn't think it hit 10. I thought it might hit 10. But when these caps, I go through these, they're just off, I think. I'll grab it if we got to do it here for the show. But if you want to wait if you like to.
Well, Duke plus 9.5 at minus 108 there, Connor, unless you can beat it. Officially official. That's beautiful work here. That's crazy. You'd have 3.5, and we're getting a 9.5 here on this game. ACC action.
I think so. I think there's a lot of love for Georgia Tech. I don't think they've really done anything. If they go out and win by 2 touchdowns, I'll tip my cap. But I think we could see the bad Haynes King or some other stuff happen. And I'm sure I'll catch it from all the Georgia Tech fans in the comment section.
Well, shout out to the Georgia Tech fans in the comments right now.
Yes.
Let's go to Baylor.
I usually back them just as dogs. I just don't want them as favorites. We're gambling here.
Agreed there. Baylor, Iowa State is our next matchup here on our slate here. Iowa State. I shout out to Iowa State, man. They're sneaky, just a good program that always kind of puts out pros. And Baylor has gone to the shits. I just told Wine Time Sports, thank you for putting me on some winners here. I did also remind him that we were both on Baylor when they lost that tragic game to Colorado. And Connor mentioned it earlier. Baylor suspends and half their defense is gone for last week's game, and they get steamrolled. Well, they got steamrolled in the first half against BYU. Came back, made it a close game in the second half. But Iowa State's having a great season. They win the Cy-Hawk. And again, I just find them to be a quality program here. So let's see what the market has to say about this matchup here. Wow. 70% of the bets, 93% of the money on the Baylor Bears there. That is surprising. Open up at a 12.5, and it goes down to 11.5. So that is nice. If you are a Baylor backer at the very least, the line reacting down to that 11.5, but still a little surprising to see all that money on them here. Let's go to the total. We have 79% of the bets and 70% of the money on the over in this game here. And we open this one at 46.5. It is now down to 45, and we're sitting 44.5 here as
That's
well.
Not good.
Wow.
That's not good. Hit the money again on the total.
On the total, yes. 79% of the bets, 70% of the money on the over, and the total has plummeted. Connor Mack, a very similar spot to with Wine Time. I will say, ask the same question I asked Wine. How are we not on this under? Connor Mack,
I'm on the under. Here's the thing. I can't take lower than 45, though. Like, I got 46.5 2 days ago. I really want 46, but I have to have 45.5, which was lingering last night. I love to see that it's come down, but we need all the points we can have here, Jose, in a tight game, 24-20, some shit like that. So are there 45.5s out there is what I need to look for. But let's break it down here a little bit. Iowa State, man, this team has looked really, really good. The defense is excellent. Obviously, Houston has its problems. They shut them out. But I think the offense still has issues here. The place will be packed. It's just a whiteout. This game, it's the late afternoon, early evening game there. The offense still, though, just isn't there. With Beck, they don't have a ton of depth at receiver and tight end. They're going to want to run the ball. They're not, both these two teams, not super fast, are just average. And I think this is a game they type win. This is even one for me on the total was with Baylor's team total. You basically it's 2 touchdowns. I don't mind that. Let's just say, and like the 14.5 minus 120 or that range, and the 13.5 you were getting plus 105 around that area. So if you like that, get over the 2 touchdowns there. With Baylor, I talked about last week, they had multiple guys suspensions, and we'll not know. Aranda talked about yesterday in his press conference that a lot of these guys are going to be back. There was some suspensions, guys were injured, and they had a bunch on the defense side of the ball, and it showed with some of their linebackers and their secondary. I think they're back in this one. One thing, too, in a game like this where Baylor might not score a ton, they do have a solid special teams. So far this year, they've been pretty good. And I think that could keep them in this one in field position to keep it close. And I kind of lean Baylor in this game. This has come down a little bit. Like you talked about, a lot of people taking them. This is a big game. And a team like Iowa State just isn't, you lay it, Jose. They've covered here, but consistently they're not just a team that laying 2 touchdowns a gimme, especially in a game like this. Maybe they beat up Arkansas State. But in this type, I think, and the offense for Baylor, we'll see what they can do. I mean, just 2 losses, the Colorado loss. You were on that, you were talking about, what? Right?
Yeah. I was on Colorado. I was on Baylor. Yeah.
You're on Baylor. And then last week, BYU, and they got slapped in the mouth right away and we're down early. Fought back in that game. They're down 17-0. But I think just pace of play, this is a grind it type game. I love all the money's coming on the over, and this is dropping. I think this game's a dead under, and I lean Baylor with the points.
All right. Well, I am on the under with you here, Connor. I got 45.5, but I got the minus 120 on that. If you're interested.
Let me try to find a better number. I'll send you it for these.
Beautiful. All right. Well, there we go.
Let me check some of like South Point and Circa and shit. Let me see if I can get a better number.
Please do. And just shoot me your action there. Wine Time Sports saying, how did I miss a spot? I'm in agreement with you guys here. This doesn't
I love it.
Scream under here. Connor, let's recap your plays in here. I think I got them all, but we want to hear right from you what your plays are, your best bets for the show were.
Yeah, South Carolina plus 9.5, under 54, over. Can we get to 60.5?
Yeah. You just said
it's not 61.
If you do. Yeah.
Okay. 61. That's basically everywhere out there. Duke plus 9.5. Wait for that, other people. But we're here live. I'll take the 9.5. That game's close. And put a little, like you talk about, these dogs. That's why I do it in college football. Someone in the NFL, Jose, I put a little on the money line. It's consistently wins. Half of my dogs or more that cover have cashed outright, and you can get some beautiful plus money lines. And that's on you, how you want to do it with your unit size and the whole blah, 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 how you want to put that together. And lastly, under 45.5, Baylor, Iowa State. I think we get a dog fight in that one. And lean Baylor, points. That's it.
All right. Well, beautiful work there,
Woo,
Connor.
COVID. I need to get this shit out of me.
Yeah, I hope you get as Dutch would say, you sweat it out of you or whatever that means.
I am. I'm sweating it out like a motherfucker.
I can, yeah. You know what? Well, you're fighting a good fight, Connor, and we appreciate you. Where can people find you on Hitting the Books? Can you tell people what time it is? And this is for the people that want Bobano to have his own show. Where can they find you guys?
Yes. Bobano's own show. Go to YouTube, Hitting the Books. Me and Bobano Mondays break it all down. Break down about 30 games, all the weeknight games, and about 20 of the Saturday games. Early look on a Monday, Hitting the Books. Check us out. And other than that, check me out, Connor Mack, on Twitter/X, Connor Mack Picks. That's it, baby. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you all you guys. Hit the like button, all the regulars, and all the people in the green, Philly Eagle Flyer, Justin, Coin, all you guys. Wine Time, my dude. Killed it up here earlier. I appreciate you jumping on. Robert Franklin, Tom Leach, all you guys. Tar Heel. Let's get it, Jose. It's baseball. It's this time of year, man. It's all go ahead. So I love it, brother. Take it easy.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Connor, beautiful. Thank you. Great work. As always, my guy. Tip my cap to thee. So shout out to you, Connor Mack Picks. All right. Well, that concludes our program here. No WNBA. Playoffs are in full swing there. So I think the next games are on Thursday and Friday, I believe. So we will come with you guys with some WNBA action. Then my plays in baseball real quick for those who might have missed it. Under 6.5 even money in the Padres game. Under 7.5 -120 in Detroit, Houston. Under 7.5 in Royals, Baltimore. -120 there. And I did lock in 3 college football plays there. The under in Nebraska Rutgers, the under in Baylor Iowa State, and I took Washington money line as well. So shout out to you guys in the chat here. Goron, Tom Leach, Wager Detective. You had a very interesting show in the chat. It's nice to see you supporting. Thank you for being in here. I wish you luck in all your future endeavors as well. Rod Zawacki, thank you, Rod, for being in here. Philly Eagle Flyer, Nunya, Justin, Coin, my guy, Justin bringing in his stacks plays of the day in case you missed those here. Mally Mal, Tori Coker. Shout out to you, Tori. My guy, Nuke Worker, in here. Raymond Reichart. Ron's play of the day was the Atlanta Braves. Spreadsheet dog play of the day. I think I might add them as well, honestly. I would like to see real quick. I'm going to refresh my odds sheet for baseball to see if their total or their odds keep dropping on the money line. Because if so, I think I will. If it gets under if it gets to -107 Padres, I probably will move on the Braves. -107, -108 Padres. That is when I will move on the Atlanta Braves there. But good luck, everyone. Pipe Layer 6. It's a great name right there, Pipe Layer. I'm sure you're just a plumber, right? Good luck with your PBC, Nuke, Tar Heel, saying some Bayern Munich and over. Good luck, my guy. And thank you guys all for watching here. Don't forget the card show we've got coming up here in November, the 16th and 17th, with a trade night there. It'll be a whole lot of fun. So join us then. Tomorrow we'll have the Cappers Contest show, and we will have Jimmy the Bag back with Betting with the Bag as well. So tune in then. Till then, say hey, and we'll see you guys next time.